You good to go? Because I'm going to roll at 5:30.
Yeah, brother.
You know me, brother.
No pressure, man. No pressure.
Huh?
We got where are the plays? They're on the table.
Yeah, they're all on the table.
Stand up with me and read them.
Yeah, are you going to do a little, like,
Just
gratitude statement?
Quick spiel of this is what it is.
Do you want me to do that part, or do you want to do that part?
I'll do that part.
Okay, yeah, then I'll be
But we
happy
can
to
go
read
up
it.
here.
In fact, I printed you. So that would
All right, I got 5:30 right on the nose. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. 1.2, the mission statement. Ms. Davis.
Favorite County Schools will provide quality educational programs and services to ensure student academic and educational success.
And 1.3, Mr. Shree, for a moment of silence and pledge of allegiance.
Could everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could you remain standing for a moment of silence? Thank you.
Welcome, everybody, to this nice, hot June day. 2.1, approval of the agenda. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. 3.1, set of minutes. Everybody's had them for a while. Any additions or corrections?
Motion to approve.
So, second?
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Public recognition, 4.1, superintendent's cohort, leadership cohort. Dr. Cheeseman is going to have these people come up. And you got the floor, Dr. Cheeseman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The superintendent leadership cohort is designed for employees within the district to tap into what life as administrator may or may not be for them, and really decide what their interest might be in pursuing administration, whether it be principal, director, coordinator, specialist. It's an essential way for our board and for myself to identify individuals who would like to do something beyond their current capacity in the district. So we're here tonight to really thank and congratulate those participants. Be right to go by. So with that, just let me call out your name and come up. I'd like to get you a token of our appreciation for graduation scores. And you and your significant other may step off to the side, showing them their dedication in front of DCS.
Molly Moore? Allison Witter? Kimberly Wood? Diane Stoddard? Will Tyson? Catherine Phillips? Shannon King? Jessica Hunter? Melissa Rivenberg? And Dawn Fletcher?
All right, photo time.
Yes, Vicky. Yep. I'm gonna let them take a pause like quick, let them get that pictures taken. We're not in that big of a hurry. Yep.
I'll send these to you.
Yeah.
Then they got Will in the middle.
Yeah, this year we had 12 participants, and over the last 4 years, we've now been, I think we're up to about 65. So it's been pretty exciting.
And while they're finishing up, I'm going to do 4.2 NCAT CTE toy. I'm going to call Miss Vicki Hamill to the mic. I saw her. There she is. She blended in. Hey, Vicki, how are you?
Oh, hey.
Hey,
How are you?
good, and you?
Good. So tonight, I'm here to recognize our CTE Teachers of the Year. And for each school, we have with us tonight Holly Alliott. She's recognized by the North Carolina Center for Advancement in Teaching for being the CTE Teacher of the Year for Northside High School. We have with us from Washington High School, Tom Ford. So proud of your achievements. And not able to be with us tonight, I believe, is Lainey Bird. She is on vacation in, well, I'm not gonna say where she's on vacation, but she couldn't be with us here tonight. So we're really very proud of her. And they had to submit portfolios if they were chosen for regional. And our nominee for the county is Lainey Bird. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on down the list. Public comment. There is nobody signed up for public comment. So
Mr. Chairman,
Yo.
before we move on, I just want to thank all of y'all for being in the cohort and our CTE teachers. That's phenomenal. That is a really great group of educators, and we are very blessed to have you all. I want to thank you, and I hope to see you in leadership roles if you aren't already in one.
We're going to go on down to 6.1, capital outlay request. And Dr. Cheeseman has this, and we got a hard copy also if you want to make some scribbles as we go down.
So the hard copy is what you have online with just a few updates in terms of updating the line items on the left-hand side. On the other copy, we had taken a few things out that have been either postponed to future dates or deemed not needed at the time. So in short, the county commissioners have provided $2.247 million, and based on requests from principals, directors, much of our teammates, the request is actually based on need at $7.8 million. So as you can imagine, 2.2 stretches, but only stretches so far. So in the document that you have in front of you, the principals prioritized what they'd like to see at their site. So if it's at the top of the line, that's the priority. So you see the amount that is projected, and then you see a column that says recommended. That projection comes from your maintenance department, so I do want to thank Mr. Stokes and his team for all of that work. But on the right-hand side, any yellow highlight is a recommendation. In the comment section, you may actually see a yellow highlight with a 0 marker there, and then in the comment section it might say safety and security funding, or it may actually say repair and renovation funding. Safety and security is part of this funding mechanism. You'll see it further down the document, but repair and renovation comes from your North Carolina lottery system, so we would actually apply like you've done for other projects, and should you approve that project and then the county commissioners approve it, then it goes to the state for approval, and then it cycles back to us. So in short, you'll see something that might be highlighted in yellow with a 0, meaning that it's not coming from this particular capital funding. We're looking for other funding in that regard. So these are just recommendations. You'll also see that the recommended column may be less than what the actual amount that was suggested, and that's largely just to stretch the money. For example, you may see a fair amount of that in maintenance, and Mr. Stokes did a really nice job with his team looking at HVAC and many other things across the district. But in order to hit all schools, all areas to the best of our ability, we made recommendations as such. So in short, this is for you to play with. This is for you to make suggestions or changes needed. That's why it's a non-action item. I think you know from previous history, the sooner that you approve it, Mr. Stokes and his team can get working on it. Post July 1 is essentially when the money drops in from the county. But to that idea is anything that's on this list that's a straight purchase, Mr. Stokes and his team then has the ability to go ahead and work through that, bring those price quotes to you. Anything under $25,000, based on your board policy, they have the green light to go ahead and order directly. But anything that requires work or repair, then they'll start really putting out requests and get estimates and bring those back through the board.
So even if it is under the threshold, he still can't start until we approve, is that correct?
Yes, you should approve this, just so he has direction specifically with his team as this is the order or this is the priority. You may actually see something on here that you think, we'd like to do something a little bit different as a board, and so I would not want him to get started on something that you've decided is less of a priority.
Can I address Jamie then directly?
Oh, of course. Mr. Stokes, if you want to come up.
Hey, Jamie, I just have a quick question. Even though I know the policy and we have to vote and we have to study and, pray about it and everything else. However, I also know that time becomes very short for you the window of getting some of this done. We're already almost at July 1st and nothing moves the week of the 4th. And then we've got 3 weeks of July and about 2 weeks in August before your faculties, a lot of them start returning. My question would be, are there things on this list that you need to prioritize for us to approve, yes or no, so that you can order materials?
There's no current projects.
Okay.
I need you to approve immediately, so I can get on, as soon as the board approves it, then we'll go through on prioritize. And like I said, we'll knock the money if we got real quick.
Okay.
Work on it and start working on major projects, and go ahead and get the plans in, start doing them out.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure if there was something particular, I'd rather pull it out and vote on it so you could move ahead with it, but.
Most of our principals have done a very good job of going ahead and getting us some good numbers to start with. So as soon as you approve, while I'm walking out the door, I get the phone calls, can we go get the order? So, and we'll go ahead and start ordering things, almost immediately upon approval.
Right, okay, all right, that's all I wanted to know, if there was any priority. Thank you.
I know this is 25, 26 years. Are there any rollovers on here? I saw a mention of a couple, maybe from
This
25,
year-
24, 25.
This year, no, there's one up there that we run into some issues that we're going over. But the only two projects we currently have going on is the tile project at P.S. Jones and the gym at Southside. And we couldn't complete them to the summertime anyway.
Right.
Once we get them completed, for all intents and purposes, last year,
We
that
cleaned
will
it
be
up.
completed.
Good job.
I just wanted you to say that. I knew that's where you were at, I thought so.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear you say it, so everybody could hear you, that you cleaned up 24, 25.
Yeah.
And-
Great job,
and-
too. Normally, in past years,
Oh my
we
gosh,
might
yes.
have, 20 projects we roll
Yes.
over to the next year.
Mhm.
So, phenomenal job once again, and I see your
Yes.
staff back there behind you, same thing.
Got a great staff.
Yeah.
Absolutely, y'all doing a great job, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
And that's not a reflection that we had that many that, because of Jamie, it's just the way things were, but you do a good job of keeping them going. And for you principals out there, if what you want didn't get funded on this list, never fear, because Jamie always seems to scratch the surface and find some money where projects are projected at one price and come in under, and he's able then to fund something that got dropped off, so don't sweat it yet, right?
He might have his personal credit card with him.
There. Thank you, though. That's-
Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask ask the board, I know that they've done a tremendous amount of work on this list, getting it together, setting priorities and such as that. Is there anybody on the board that wants to go ahead and vote on this tonight?
I'm game. I've seen it 400 times, just like everybody else, and we went through the walkthroughs and went through what we needed to look at. So.
I'm ready too. I respect somebody that's not ready, but I am.
Well, we've all toured the schools. We've seen it over and over. I was thinking that, Gary, but I wasn't going to say in case
Me-
somebody wanted
me
to.
too.
But I've seen these so
Make a
much.
motion to move it to an action
I don't intend on carrying this home and looking at it again. I've memorized it.
I would move that we move this to an action item.
I'll
Second.
second you.
All right, got a motion and a second, move to action item. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
There you go.
Move approval as is.
All right.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, Jamie.
Jamie, they're gonna
You got a
start
list.
texting you
Thank
before
you, Gary.
even
Gary.
get out.
Thank you. That was a great because you can't beat it for so long, can we?
Catch, Gary.
You have a lot of people staring at you right now.
Well, I mean, I don't know how he could
Hey,
fine
Jamie,
tune
your
it.
text is blowing up.
I don't know how he could fine tune it any more than he has. I mean, it's done.
All righty.
Thanks, Gary.
6.2, Chocowinity Primary School and Chocowinity Middle School updates from Ms. Johnson and Ms. Whittington. You want me to ask me? You want me to ask her?
I just
I
want.
don't, is it on?
I mean, you can ask me whatever. Yeah, I know what I want.
Go ahead. All right,
Hi.
good.
It's on.
Yeah, it's on.
Yep.
Good evening. How are y'all?
Good.
Good. I have some really exciting news to share
All right.
about Snowden and the progress that we're making now at Chocowinity Primary School. So at the end of the school year, we sent intent forms home to all K-8 students to find out, what the parents were thinking about coming on up to the primary school and the middle school. And from that, we had a lot that intend to come. So that was great. And then we also held a parent night the week we were out of school during the work days for parents to come in and just tour the school, see where their children would be, ask any questions. Jeff Miller was also there to answer any transportation questions. And we had a phenomenal turnout that night as well. And then from there, if the parents did not sign the intent form, or if they did not come to the first parent night, then I've made personal phone calls to all of those parents. There's been a couple that numbers are changed or whatnot that I haven't spoken with, but and they've come out and had one-on-one visits with me, and we've toured the school, and I've answered any questions for them too. So with that contact, right now we have 32 students that are committed to coming to Chocowinity Primary next year from kinder through 4th grade. There are 8 students and parents, families that are still not sure. They're weighing their options. And then we have 14 students and families that have stated that they do intend to go to Pamlico County and or Arapahoe schools. We have gotten information from those districts that only 3 of the 14 have actually been to the schools, and they are now waitlisted in hopes of getting into Pamlico County, but the other students, the 11, they have not been to the school yet, so they are not even waitlisted at this time. So I'm not sure, what will happen with those 11. Also, through the parent night that we had, we were able to just answer again a lot of questions, and 2 questions kept coming up that these parents were provided with incorrect information. So we were able to clarify that for them, and they felt a lot better about sending their children to Chocowinity Primary, so I was glad that we were able to do that. The first one was around modular units. They have been told that the Snowden students only would be in modular units, and of course that is not true. And I also, shared the school grounds with them to prove that we don't even have modular units, and that the classrooms their students will be in the classrooms, just like other Chocowinity Primary scholars, because that's what they are. There was also misconception about the transportation. They had been told there would be one community stop, and the parents were responsible for taking their child there, and we assured them that was also not the case, that the bus would transport their child to and from their house or wherever the parents so desired it to be in that area. So, after clearing that up, everybody was fine with it. A lot of the parents didn't even comment about the distance. A couple said, it's a long ride. Yes, sir, it is a long ride, but no one was irate or upset about the distance. All the comments that in conversations we've had have been positive So I feel really good about where we are. We're, planning. We have all the classroom spaces planned out. Everything's coming together. We're excited.
Sounds good.
Lauren?
Good evening. So we actually have our parent night tomorrow night. So I will have more details I'd be happy to share at the next meeting to confirm some of the numbers. Right now, we are scheduled to get 49 students. And out of those 49, I have received 18 intent forms. I do expect to have, of course, more, hopefully tomorrow evening when we have our parent night. We will also have transportation there as well. Lena and I have talked several times to make sure that we are working together in this transition and making sure that all parents feel very comfortable coming to our schools. So that's kind of where we are at this moment. I have been speaking with Gail Rowell a lot. She had already spoken to some of the families, and about 10 of those students had said, out of the 49, had said they were going to go to other schools. But again, I don't have confirmation. And no one has unenrolled that I know of. So I'm looking at 49, and we'll see what happens tomorrow evening. I look forward to meeting all these sweet families.
I know it'll be
Is that
very
6?
positive.
Don?
Is that at 6 o'clock?
It's at 6 o'clock tomorrow in the gym at CMS.
Don?
I was just going to say, Ms. Whittington, I'm glad you cleared up some of those rumors, incorrect rumors that were going around. I think some of those might have been intentional.
Absolutely.
To add some
Right.
fire to.
Well, I've been at all the parent forums and meetings that we've had, and I've heard the comments. But those comments seem to have been from the community and not the actual parents of the children that will be coming to these schools.
Glad you.
And I have a question too. I had a parent that, well, first of all, I had a grandparent that came through the store that had been at Scoops next door, and her 2 grandchildren one will go to CMS and one CPS. Very excited. But they had also been given misinformation that if they did not attend, because she said they were out of town during your visit, that they couldn't enroll. And I said, that's not true. It's going to be automatic. Is that correct? They will have a spot. And
These
so.
kids-
Shifted over.
Yeah,
Pardon
these
me?
kids don't have to register. They're already
Right.
Beaufort County
Right,
students.
and I'm not sure why they were told if they didn't show up, they could not be enrolled.
Right,
But I
right, right.
reassured her they all had
Yeah,
spots.
I have had, heard a couple of those comments through the phone calls that we've made.
Yeah.
So hopefully I've cleared that up with all the ones that had that concern. And I've also, all the parents that have been to see us have commented that their middle schoolers will be attending Chocowee Middle School. So I agree, she's going to have a great turnout tomorrow night.
Right.
Awesome.
Good.
Well, we're looking at the numbers, and I've already spoken, of course, to both of them and Ms. Johnson this afternoon. And I knew you didn't have your, I'm not calling it an open house, but parent night until tomorrow night. So you'll start hearing more. But in listening to what you're saying, we're already at 50, I'm gonna call it commitments, because I've had a lot of people come up to me saying the same thing. When do they have to register? And I want to be very clear, am I not correct? They don't have to register. These are Beaufort County students. All they have to do is show up at school and everything will be transferred over for them. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
And I
So
think
you're
all-
basically halfway home in the 100 or so students. And folks, this has only been a couple of weeks.
Well, and we're
people do
planning for
come.
all of those that we haven't heard from,
Yeah,
and the ones
you
that
should-
said Arapahoe or Pamlico County, because, there's a lot of what ifs there.
But if they decided or wish, and this is what I clarified, but this grandmother's using CMS and CPS, but if they wanted to go to a school other than those 2, they do need to ask for a transfer, right? How would that work?
Another school in our district or outside the district?
In our district?
Yes.
Let's just, I'm not sure where, but let's say one of them wants to go to Eastern Elementary
Yeah,
instead of
so
CPS.
They would have to request a transfer, and both principals would have to sign off on that,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would come to me, and I would sign off on that.
Okay, all right, because I had a couple that have said they want to go to the new school, they didn't care where they lived.
Good.
So,
I don't blame them.
What about out of
got
county?
a year
Do I
left
do-
on
Out
that.
of county.
Out of county is.
Yeah.
Out of county, they still have to be approved, but we look at and released from their county coming to us. If they're leaving us, going to the other county, well, then they have to first be approved at the other county before we would release them.
And if they have left and gone to, let's say, Arapahoe Charter, but now desire maybe to come back,
They're welcome to.
I know they're welcome to, but that would be a different process, right?
They're domiciled here, so they would just unenroll there and then come back and essentially re-enroll with us, but
Right,
they're
that's-
domiciled here, so they're
Because they
guaranteed a
wouldn't be on a
position.
list that you all would have
No.
because they're not currently, they haven't
No,
been at
so
Stone.
the family would just have to come back to the school where they're domiciled at
Okay.
to start that process.
I just want to say I'm thrilled to hear this report from both of you.
We are as well. It's been great, very positive.
As this sorts out, can y'all get me a list through proper channels to, of the students from the former Snowden School that are coming, staying in the system?
Dr. Cheeseman?
I'll
Yes,
have
sir.
that. I'll provide that.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think the question goes this way. The students that intend or have given or parents that said their kids may be attending outside our county, such as Pamlico County. I mean, I guess Pamlico has the rest of the summer to decide whether they take them or not.
They have as
I'm just
long as
trying
they
to
want.
I'm just trying to figure out how would there be any way to speed up the process so that our schools know prior to opening day
I'm
that
calling
34
every day.
kids aren't going to show up. But we can't control Pamlico County, I get that. But they just basically have ever how long they need to decide, right?
They
Yes.
closed transfers on June
So they
Yeah, so
they
how
have a
does that
cutoff
work?
date of June 19th, but we also have a cutoff date of June 1st.
Right.
And that's typically fluid.
But this is a
especially-
little bit different situation.
Yeah, so I think they're working through it. They also have
Okay.
to look at class size laws and what they can hold.
Yeah, because, I'm not gonna get too deep into that, but we've all
Well-
heard the rumors that, some of them may not be going to Pamlico County.
Yeah, every one of those students is still deemed a Beaufort County resident and a Beaufort
Right.
County student
Okay.
until they get a acceptance form on their side and we release them.
Gotcha. Well, the good news is, once again, and then I'll stop, 50 students have said they're coming. So we're halfway home in 2 weeks.
Yes.
So,
Great news.
And
great
can
news.
Yeah.
Can I impose upon our attorney to ask for some clarification?
Yeah.
Can you help with Steve? For the record, even though this is a very slack crowd and most of this crowd already knows the
I'm gonna move
truth,
his microphone.
but for the record,
Just move
can
the top. There you go.
Thank you. For the record, can you validate publicly that we crossed all the Ts and dotted all the Is and followed all the protocol, regardless of where you may have been on the issue? What I want to make clear to the public is that we did everything we were supposed to do. Is that correct?
That is correct. So I was in conversation with Dr. Cheeseman early in the process to talk about what those requirements were. The statute in question is GS 115C72, which gives plenary authority to this board to consolidate or close schools within its school district. If there's not someone else that has a jurisdictional claim on the school, it is entirely up to you. The state board does not have any role in it. Your neighboring districts have no role. And the statute just lays out a few things that you have to do. One is to conduct a thorough study, which involves several factors that are laid out in the statute, and I won't go through all of them, but basically looking at the impact of the closure decision, what's it going to be like for the students who are in the schools that are going to have new students, what's it going to be like for the students who are leaving the closed school. Things like transportation are often looked at closely, other geographic factors, impact on staff. Dr. Cheeseman, I know, presented a packet document that collected all of that information for the public and for the board as part of the hearing and review process. So that piece was covered, and then you obviously have to have a public hearing, which allows community members to have their opinions heard on the matter, and I know you actually went beyond
Oh, we had that.
Well, but you went beyond that, right? You had a meeting where the superintendent actually took questions, which is not required, and gave responses in light of the study, and then you had an additional meeting where the board was able to hear from the public. And so, you have thoroughly covered those. And at that point, it's in the full discretion of the board. Obviously, these decisions are difficult for the board. They're difficult on the community. But this board has the authority as long as they do those basic things, and you did.
Okay, thank you. And of course, the TV cameras aren't here tonight, but I just wanted to make that part of our minutes, that he did clarify that and validate that we did all the right things that we were supposed to do, regardless of where you are on the issue. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'd like to say thank you to both of you for going the extra mile to welcome these students with open arms. Unfortunately, we have some citizens and even some elected officials in play here that I think want to make this transition as difficult as possible. So thank you guys for going the extra mile to let these students know that they are welcome, and we're going to do everything we can do to accommodate them
Good job.
at all costs. So
Good
thank you.
job. Thank you.
Thank you for
Mr.
everything you do.
Chairman.
Yes,
Good
sir. Go
job.
ahead.
Mr. Chairman, please allow me to say
Go ahead.
this. To the both of you, as principals, thank you so very much. I've had a great whooping during the whole time, but that's okay. I'm used to them, but I think you're doing a great job. And the arrangements that you have, especially, I haven't been to your school, Ms. Johnson, but I have been over to Ms. Whittington, and everything looks great. I think you're on the way, and I think it's gonna be great because you're preparing for it, okay? So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
I'd
Thank you
like to
both so
reiterate
much.
that too, Ms. Johnson. We wish you well. We know you're going to do a good job. And Ms. Whittington, thank you guys so much for welcoming those students and for your enthusiasm for what you do as a principal.
It's
I've
very
seen it, and it's
infectious.
very
It is.
infectious. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Have a great summer. Well, what little bit y'all do or don't
Yeah.
get off.
Work hard.
6.3 Washington Elementary School update. Dr. Cheeseman.
I'd like to invite Dr. Kelly Makepeace to
All right.
come to the front. Also, if you've come past the property on Pennsylvania Avenue in the corner of Hudnall,
Looks
you'll
like a
see
beaut.
that the steel structure is coming up, and it's moving very quickly. And also, we are still on time. And I also want to thank Christy Potts, your CFO, for working closely with the county finance officer to make sure that the disbursements and payments and all of that are on time and in order. So with that, Dr. Makepeace has some news about future mascot.
Oh, they turned it off. Lynn turned it off on you. It's on the bottom.
Ben.
There we go.
All right. So I feel like the most anticipated question of this whole project, and probably the most frequent question I've gotten over the past couple months, has been, what is the mascot going to be? And looking at the survey, overwhelmingly we had 3 top choices. And most people really want to just pay homage to Washington. And so they want something that is something like to do with the river and the water. So 2 of the mascots that came out of the top 3 are blue crabs and dolphins. And then, of course, our Washington Pan Pack, the 3rd one is Lil Pack. So our top 3 choices to vote on are blue crabs, dolphins, and Little Pack. And so the way that we discussed doing this is go ahead and put the survey back out to the public and allow them to vote on one of the top 3 choices. But overwhelmingly, those were the top 3.
And then we would bring that back to you with the outcome of the survey and ask you to vote on the public's recommendation.
So mullets are out, huh?
There were some really
Granger in these days.
there were some really interesting submissions, but
So ultimately, your next board meeting is slated for July 15th at the moment, but it's essential that we bring this back to you, as your builders are going to need to know the colors that the Board of Education would like to use at their new school, which is tied to the mascot. So once you have the mascot, then again, we'll start looking at the color scheme. And so ultimately, the board would vote on the mascot, the color schemes involved, and then WIMCO, Height Associates will start working on the color schemes inside the building for you. Lots of things happening, but I'm still told that by mid-December, you should have the walls up, the roof on, and the bricks starting to be assembled. And right now, I want to thank WIMCO publicly for doubling up on the personnel in order to make sure that we're going to meet that timeline. Dr. Makepeace, anything else?
just that we are going to close the survey on July 10th. And so that will be to you guys on that Friday, July 11th, before the meeting on the 15th, I think.
All right, that's the plan.
I would also like to add that I stopped actually at the work site last week and took a couple pictures If you decide to turn into that fence, you should probably let somebody know. I was in my shop working at 7 o'clock, and I received a phone call from our extremely diligent maintenance director, Mr. Stokes, that they pretty much identified my truck to the T and wanted to know who it was. So, I received a phone call on that.
It's a very
I learned a
secure
lesson.
site.
Check in with somebody if you stop.
Very secure site.
Yes.
Make sure you have a hard hat on.
Yes.
They'll get you.
Thank you,
All right,
Kim.
thank you.
you.
It's actually looking like a building and
Yeah.
everything.
All right, we're going down to the action items of part of the meeting. 7.1, 2025 through 28 AIG plan. Ms. Atwell Peters, Amanda. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You should have received.
I think you're on. Just turn it on. We'll turn it off later.
You should have received the 25-28 AIG plan in your documents last week. Very quickly, I will give you a few highlights. The AIG plan is required to be submitted to DPI through the CCIP portal by July 15th. There are very few changes to the plan, but the largest or greatest changes are under Standard 1, Practice B, Pathway 4, and that is through additional multiple criteria, rubrics, and alternative pathways for 4th through 12th graders. Also on this plan, we have ideas for strengthening each standard, which was not included in the 22-25 plan. And additionally, enhanced record keeping through documented blue folders within the CUNY folders, so that regardless of what grade a student is in, we can go back and track their initial identification and their DEPs, differentiated education plans, that have been in place over the years. So I worked very carefully with the AIG specialist in each school this past year to make sure that we had all of that in place for our elementary students. By the end of this year, I have already talked with Dr. Young about making sure that those records are in place in the fall for our middle and high school students, and I'll be working with the counselors to make sure those records are in those CUNY folders in the fall with them. So this is the plan. Are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Ms. Atwell, on the sources of funding, is there ever any grant funding that would go with that, or typically, or no?
Well, I will tell you that I have been attending the last year. This was my first year working with AIG. I do attend the regional meetings, and I have heard of cases where different districts have received AIG funding. In August, I'll be going to an AIG Coordinators Institute where I can learn about additional funds. But over the past several years, we have not had any grant funds. But from what I understand, there are opportunities out there, and we'll be learning about those in August.
Any more questions from Amanda, Miss Amanda?
I called Amanda the other day just because it's been a while since we read the other one, and I wanted to know what major differences were. And what I really liked about what she said is that what I have always hated is that for our third graders to get the opportunity to be in an AIG program, for years ago, it all hinged on that one day of testing, that one test. And the percentage of teacher input was very, very small, and now it's more of a team and several factors, because you have children that may have test anxiety or a number of things, but have been knocking it out of the park the whole school year. But because of that one-day test, they don't get into the AIG program. So I am thrilled to think that you're not that, I don't want to use the word, and you're not being lenient, but you are broadening the opportunities for all students now, to be able to get in the AIG program. Are we, and whether it be math, language arts, science. So I thank you for that. That's going to be great.
Absolutely.
All right, get a motion to approve.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
7.3, Washington Elementary School flooring, tile versus epoxy. You got an attachment, Mr. Stokes.
See in front of you, this is a request change from tile.
Can you, sorry.
Hear me now?
You're good.
This is a request to change from tile to epoxy flooring in all our bathrooms at the new school. One of our challenges at the school is we wanted to make it as maintenance friendly as possible. This helps that action. It's easier to clean, it's easier to maintain, and the life expectancy is a lot longer than a tile. Tile, if you're familiar with the grout lines, they almost immediately get dirty and they're hard to keep clean. They're in bathrooms. Color to be determined once the school colors are picked. But the difference in this is $48,209, and this is a change order request from WIMCO to make this change.
And it's our first one.
Yes.
Is this allowed inside of the contingency money that was allowed?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
What was that number?
Yeah.
$48,209.20.
So you're within budget.
Yes. And if you got one sheet there in your last, and it shows the floor tile credit, it shows the epoxy cost, and then it shows the difference.
I got you. Last sheet.
Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been waiting for this to come back. I knew this was going to end up happening, and because this is really the only way to go.
Yes, we love these floors. They're easy to maintain.
Well, you'll save in the long run.
Yeah, and it's epoxy, and that epoxy will turn and come up the sidewall. There's a barrier where the wall and epoxy comes that helps prevent water to get in behind the wall also.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
Crowd is never good in a boys'
Yeah,
club.
no, I couldn't.
right.
Yeah, it should have
You're
never been
on
on.
for surplus sale.
Okay, what you have here in front of you is surplus that we currently have on hand. And this is a lot of estimates of what we got. The gym over here on this property is full to the brim right now. We have not had a surplus sale since I've been employed with the county. A lot of this stuff that we have here is in kind of bad shape, moldy, mildewed. We did send an email out to our principals a couple of weeks ago, June 18th, I believe. We had 4 respond of stuff that they'd like to have. We have supplied those needs at this point. And if some of the principals sitting behind me have not seen that, please contact me and I'll help you out. But what we're requesting here is to have a surplus to sell this. And after the surplus sale, if the surplus sale does not go very well, we'd like to also request to have a Saturday sale, kind of like a yard sale.
Grab and go.
Grab and go. Me and Angela and a couple employees would be on site, and we would let the general public come in and walk through and pick up what they want. We would put a number on it and let it be sold. What you can carry out is yours and sell it.
When are you talking about having your surplus?
It would be after we get this stuff put on Gov Deals, and we, taking pictures, and Angela, she has the kid all in, and then we'll probably run the sale for about 2 weeks. And then once the sale's up, people can come get their stuff, and then we would immediately try to scout. I'd like to have this done before school takes in. Because one reason we're doing this is we're getting ready for what we see coming up in the next year. We got surplus to pick up at other schools right now. We got Eastern that's going to be closing. It's going to have stuff in it, but we're going to want to hold on to. So we're going to need a place to put it. And right now we are basically full over here.
What about Snowden?
Snowden will move as needed. I see that equipment is to be used for the Aurora kids as they come up to the schools. We'll support them with the tables, the chairs, the furniture for the teachers. If the teacher's got a desk and a chair that she likes and she wants to stay with, we'll be glad to move that to her. I've already talked to some of the principals that know they're going to be receiving.
And Ben, can you talk to the technology equipment at Snowden, what we're going to do with that?
We've already pulled the TVs out of Snowden, so they're on storage here. We've collected all the student devices. We have them in our office. They'll follow the kids wherever they go. And I'm pretty sure we've collected all the teacher devices also. We have a few more things to pick up, a few admin desktops and things like that, but not a lot of technology left. So So.
And Jamie, do you want to talk about securing the Snowden building?
So there's a couple of things we did. We have rekeyed every exterior door to a new master. So if there's any keys that didn't get turned in, those keys will no longer work. And also today, as we were walking through the facility, in a band room, we noticed there's a room there with the cabinets with a lot of band equipment in it, trumpets, trombones, you name it. We'll be locking all that up tomorrow with new locks that maintenance department only has a key for to secure until at what time there's a decision made where those instruments need to go. With maintenance, our department is doing our best to try to safeguard that facility, keep everything in it, and custodial products that we can use extra place. We've started to slowly move them out. I've talked with Lynn. I've talked with Lauren about potential need for desks and tables in there. A lot of that hinges on how many students we're going to get at each school and what the need is at each school. But we'll be working very closely with them. If they get surprises on the first day of school, we're going to try to be as prepared as we can to help them out.
And Ms. Potts, do you want to talk about the financial things that you've already recovered?
Yes, sir. I went down and inventoried the bookkeeper's office last week, I believe, and picked up the blank checks, deposit tickets, anything that was finance related, and inventoried it. I presented a sheet with everything that I brought out of that office to Dr. Cheeseman and to Mark Doan. The bank account for the school is still open. It will remain open until we can reconcile the account once we get the bank statement the first week of July. And at that point, we will close the bank account and we will appropriate the funds out to the schools that are receiving the students.
So there was a lot of band equipment in the band room?
We found some trumpets, some trombones, some different things. There's some metal storage lockers in with open fronts on them that we found today inside that room. I just felt more comfortable with, even though the door's locked and secured, I just felt more trying to secure them.
Well, most of the time, you can rent or buy band equipment. So that doesn't sound like that was the case there if it was left at school. I just want to make sure none of that equipment was rented band equipment that did not get turned back into the, PC Sounds used to do it, and they've gone out of business.
Yeah.
It closed up. But.
And when we get time, we'll go through and open them up and look and see if there's any identifying marks on them.
Okay.
I know one of the baritones had Southside markings on it. So it might have been some band equipment that got donated from Southside up for the students to use there.
And now that the band directors left Northside, we may have a surplus of band equipment, but we'll still have band teachers that will probably lovingly take it and use it.
Yes.
I know P.S. Jones has a big band program. You're already texting.
I glanced over at you when they said it.
When we toured P.S. Jones.
Just
and
call
their-
Jamie Stokes.
The band performed for us, and they have a rather large band at P.S. Jones, and I know that band equipment can be very expensive, and that kids that do want to take band get turned away from playing the instrument they want to play because it's too expensive. But I'm glad that you'll be able to move that into the schools that need it. But yeah, Alicia will be at the front of the line, I'm sure.
Jamie, when can I get my fan back from Snowden? I'm suffering in my shop.
Your fan? I looked at the fan today and I didn't see any markings on it, so we used it in the maintenance department today.
Okay, yeah.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
I still have a question for Jamie.
Go ahead.
Had nothing to do with the motion, that was okay. Would it be an accurate statement to say that by the end of the summer then you will have everything out you wanted, the facility will be secured, and at that point you'll be done as far as what you need to do down there?
Well, a lot of unknowns with the number of students that may potentially end up in Chalkman primary and Chalkman middle.
Okay.
So, there's no plans to take anything out unless there's a need from
Right, I
them.
understand.
So we're going to leave that stuff in place. The pre-K room, we've got all that equipment. Shannon Sides has been down there.
Mhm.
She has isolated all that stuff up. We've got it taped up. And we've talked with her, whenever she needs that, if she needs any of that equipment, then we'll go down there and move it. It's air conditioned, so the equipment, everything will be taken care of right now. We'll maintain the ACs, but we will turn everything up. We're gonna open doors so the building can breathe. We're already setting up a rotation, so a maintenance guy will be going down there a couple of times a week just to drive in, make sure we don't have water leaks, checking the water meters, that type of stuff.
Okay, so that carries me to my last question, and I'm gonna direct it to my right, I think. So at that point in time, will we be ready to have a discussion, beginning to open up a discussion on the future of that facility and property?
Yeah, at the pleasure of the board.
Okay, but I mean, I want to make sure they've done everything they need to do, not hinder anything over the summer is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I'm planning on taking it next, is to, by the end of the summer, I want a discussion on the future of the facility and what we do with that property.
Unless otherwise directed, we're gonna leave
I understand.
everything there, but
Yeah.
if I get a directive, then we'll get it out.
No, I understand. You're good. You're good. Thanks,
Thank
Jamie.
Thank you.
7.4 Federal Consolidated Application Authorization. Dr. Cheeseman.
That was a mouthful.
Yes, it was. This is the annual moment where I'm seeking your approval to serve as the authority to act as the fiscal agent in applying for federal grants.
Yep.
This is being a superintendent.
Yeah, being a superintendent.
I move approval on that.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right.
Need those grants.
All right, 7.5, Washington Elementary School disbursement. Ms. Potts, you got an attachment?
Yes, sir. I've got two disbursements for y'all to consider tonight. The first one I'll refer to is disbursement number 5, and that's the one that's dated for June 9th. Mr. Height has recommended that WIMCO be paid directly with these disbursements. So number 5, he is requesting that $916,037.50 be paid to WIMCO for services at this point. The next one is disbursement number 6, and that one is dated June 13th. Again, Mr. Height is recommending that WIMCO be paid directly for their services, and that one is a disbursement request of $1,555,102.50.
Anybody got any questions? Mr. Height signed off on it.
Yeah,
We're
Ms.
good to
Potts,
go.
are you
Yeah.
good? Are you good with that?
Yes, sir, I'm good with that.
Mr. Height's good with
Well,
it.
you're the financial
And
lady.
I
so-
feel like those boys
Yeah,
are
go
working
ahead.
every day out there. Yes, sir, I feel good with that.
And it is, I requested, I spoke with Jamie today, I spoke with everybody it seemed like today, but I spoke with Jamie about going forward when there's a disbursement, there will be, he's gonna attach some greater detail, so it's not just, we ask for this, we pay this. But any board member that wants that explanation can always get it from WIMCO or from Christie.
Yes, ma'am. And I was
It's
gonna
several
say-
pages long, but.
It is, and when I come to you each night, I present this to you guys. I have with me the whole packet, so you are more than welcome to ask me to look at it before or after. And in fact, if y'all need to see it, I can leave this copy with you tonight.
No, I have a copy, but I just
but
want
we have
everybody
it.
to know that you can get that information.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
It's not just they're requesting money without any kind of explanation.
That's
They are
right.
giving
Part of
you-
the contract is also percentage completion.
Yep.
Right.
Right.
Just like
So-
a house contract.
Yeah, so it might not say this is how much the screw cost and the beam.
Right.
It may say that Height Associates has signed off that the percentage of the job has been completed, thus here's the amount of money you're
It
paying.
is,
Exactly.
but with that said, it is very detailed.
Yes, ma'am, it is very detailed.
No, she-
And
good. Yeah, I'm good.
I'm just gonna add that Jamie has a copy of what I call the WES Bible. He has a copy in his office, I have a copy in my office, and Anita Radcliffe at county office, she has a WES Bible as well. So contact any of us and we'll be glad to share.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
Move approval.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. 7.8, I thought the kids were gone.
7.6.
Field,
No.
7.6.
no,
Continue,
7.6, hang on, I missed one.
You jumped
I
over
was like, you're
six.
skipping me.
7.6, I'm sorry, Christie.
He's got somewhere to go.
Continuing, no, I don't have anywhere to go. I just got continuing budget resolution.
He's ready
Ms.
to wrap
Potts.
this up. It's all right, y'all.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, baby. I got 2 more things for y'all. So the next thing I have is the continuing budget resolution. So for our newer board members, what this is at this point, we do not have an approved state budget. We know what our local allotment is, but we don't know what our federal is. So I ask you to, it's my recommendation, that you continue to use the numbers that are equal to, amounts that are equal to what we used in our budget for 2024-25 for 25-26, so that we can get started in July doing business.
Move to
So-
approve.
All right, got a motion, you
Second.
All right,
So when the state budget is approved, is there a situation where that might change?
So what we do when the state budget does get approved, then I do you a budget resolution, and I'll bring that back for your approval at that time.
And it can change it.
Yes, it
No,
can change.
it will change.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Thank you.
so I got
Sure.
a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, let me not jump ahead again this time. Budget amendment 7.7 on the thing. Ms. Potts, one more time.
One more time, let's do it.
Closing out the year.
That's it. So we are very hopeful in our finance department that we have paid all the bills for 2025, and we will still take money if we get any, but I'm not sure. There's not many checks rolling in at this point. So what I have done is I have prepared what I hope is your last budget amendment for this fiscal year. And this reads just like the ones y'all have seen in the past. So I'm gonna give you a quick highlights, just where you're gonna see some changes from the last one. Fund 1, we got a little bit more money, which is always good. Fund 3, we got a little bit more money, about 66,000 and some change. Fund 4 is increased just because of the school buses we're supposed to get from the state, okay? And that's pretty big, so you'll see like 1.4 million there. And then on Fund 8, we've had an increase in our income there, our revenues, about 540-some thousand. And the bulk of that is we got a Medicaid refund, which was about 240,000, and we've taken our sales tax refund, which is about 108. And then I took indirect costs last week, and that was about 150-some thousand. So that's the highlights of this. But we hope this is our last one
For the year.
for the year.
For the school year. For the school year.
I'll be back next month with something else.
Move approval.
School year.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Now we can get to the field trip approval that I jumped down there too while ago.
But I am like you, I thought school's out. So
Who's got this one? Dr. Cheatham.
CTE, FFA State Convention, Raleigh Convention Center, June 23rd through the 26th. Northside High School State Cross Country Championship in Kernersville, North Carolina, October 31st through November 1st. And Chuckamony Middle School House Leadership Retreat in Pine Knoll Shores. Asking you to approve them as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Just a question. What's the
Yep.
date of the Chuckamony Middle School field trip?
Ms. Johnson, August?
Correct, thanks.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Mr. Williams.
I move that we go into closed session pursuant to General Statutes 143, 318, 11A1 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel files under General Statutes 115C, 321.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Mr. Chair, before
Yes.
you vote on that, the motion doesn't include consulting with the board.
And I was gonna say, I saw that, and I was getting ready to look over there. I didn't have anything to write down.
A3 and A6.
A3 and A6.
A1,
A1,
A3, and A6.
That'll cover your personnel, your.
A1 and A6.
A3 and A6. That'll cover student information, personnel information.
And to include A1, A3, A6 to discuss with our
Second,
personnel.
again.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
I saw it wasn't on there, but I didn't.
Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. Stay cool. And I don't mean peace and frisbee.
Good job, sir.
And then temporary tours.